Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I must say and admit that it's really very warm to be here amongst, warm and cozy atmosphere and warm people like yourself. And the reason I'm saying is because I think we as human race have understood really the value of each and every particular small, if I can say, treasures that we never used to value in our day-to-day lives. Meeting people, coming to conferences like this. So I must say, when I was contacted by, the delegates, Yashasvi and her lovely team, I was very excited. Yet at least finally we're going to attend, a conference and get to meet some people. And before. Pre-corona era, we used to be okay, another conference, another session, but hey, it's really lovely to be amongst all of you. So before really starting, I would like to share a small anecdote. When I was flying into Dubai yesterday, and I was chatting with the gentleman passenger sitting next to me, and we started discussing some business trends and percentages about food industry, restaurant industry, hotel industry. And during the conversation, he mentioned, so was it BC or is it AC you're talking about? So I got a little bit confused, here I don't think I look that old that he's talking about BC and AC. And then later on, it struck me that what he was talking about before Corona era, the percentages, the trends that we're talking about, or after Corona. So I guess these are the new normals that we as human beings will remember and will be talking about, as with the big incidents or events in the history. I think definitely this pandemic, has gone down in many ways, down the history, whereby we will be, I think, giving it reference. Was it pre-Corona, before Corona, or after Corona? So anyway, good to be here. Just a brief intro. Myself, I'll be talking about, I was really very excited, to hear your thoughts. I was touching very close to the area where I'll be speaking. I come from a hospitality restaurant, especially restaurant background. And when I was approached, I thought it would be really good to share some thoughts about how this really pandemic, of course, it has affected across, across every industry, across every business, but how it has really affected the hospitality industry, restaurants, hotels. Millions of people not only lost their jobs, unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives. And hence, I said in the beginning, I think we should really treasure every single little thing that we have in our lives, be it a simple food, be it being with our families. I mean, that's a lesson that I have learned, being with the family, spending some time with them, eating simple food. It's just that I think we realize how bare minimum we as humans can really survive. I think we got in the bad habit of, getting used to the luxuries. But I guess God has his own way, to bring us back, pull us back, and show, hey, this is where you belong. So, I would like to share some insights. Like I said, I'm going to talk about the impact of pandemic on the restaurant industry or hospitality industry. But regardless, some of the points that I would like to share may apply across different industries as well, at least in terms of some takeaways or some things or few tips that you may be able to apply in your part of the world or in your part of the industry. So, all right. So, I think, Chef, you're talking about, you mentioned about deliveries and all those things. Absolutely. What is it that today does not get delivered? Well, thanks to pandemic, in our part of the world industry, I certainly, would, never thought of, would start from the last point where I'm saying that who imagined getting coffee delivered? Well, guess what? I was talking to some food aggregators, the delivery companies. Their percentages of getting a product like coffee delivered to homes, offices is incredibly high as well. For a person like me, getting coffee delivered by delivery companies, something that doesn't really fit my mind or my acceptance level. But guess what? It is what it is. So yeah, that has been high on their percentages. So yeah, that's why, saying who imagined 5-star hotels if you go now, scanning QR codes instead of going through those glossy, colorful luxury menus. But, that's what pandemic has done. Who imagined companies, brands like Starbucks working on their drive-through models instead of, especially in this part of the world, in Middle East, Starbucks, if you go to their properties or buildings, they're spacious, in some cases very luxurious as well. But guess what? You see their drive-through also popping up along with the dine-in facilities that they have. So again, these are some of the effect of pandemic. Let's talk about some. I would say of course you can pick hundreds and millions of numbers, the effects, the percentages that pandemic had across different industries. Particularly here talking about the food industry. But all these numbers, yes, astonishing, but I think not any more astonishing with the mayhem that unfortunately pandemic has created across different businesses. But just to take you through, the full service restaurants traffic dropped by almost 89% globally, and that's also we're talking about 2020. Of course, this percentage at some point of time really went to close to 100 because everything was in lockdown. So yeah, that's why I said, again, these numbers being astonishing are really not astonishing in one way. The industry lost 3 decades worth. Now that's really a painful and emotional part as well. It really lost worth 3 decades of employees in just 6 weeks. And of course, these numbers are, some of the numbers are from different parts of the world. In this case, for example, we're talking about US, obviously because, the dining facilities were closed for all these eateries. The third point, one of the credible references, the National Restaurant Association said restaurant food service sales were 240 billion below its 2020 pre-pandemic forecast or era. Billions of eating and drinking establishments closed permanently, temporary. The country from where I come in, from Saudi Arabia, we happened to go, I'm sure you've heard about the 2 holiest cities, Mecca and Medina. So it was really a very painful sight when I went there after the pandemic. It's one of the busiest places on the face of the earth when it comes to hotel occupancy. It's crazy. It's just crazy for those who have not visited. All the hotels, most of the hotels have closed, except just very few which are perhaps on the very main streets. Every single hotel, shops, retails have closed. Now, of course, they are bouncing back. They are coming back. But the painful part is what I was talking to a couple of the owners in one of the meetings in hotels. And, they mentioned, hey, Kamran, again, it's not that easy because, running, for example, a hotel of a size like this, where you need hundreds of employees, all those employees have left, they have gone. So bringing those employees back, getting the visas, again, if they're new employees, that finding the right talent, training and all those things. So there are these complications across the industries which is playing havoc still. And unfortunately, it seems like likely it's going to keep on playing havoc for the next, whatever, number of years. So that is as unfortunate it is, but that is a fact. The current challenges for the food and beverage industry, and then obviously some of them, like I said, could apply to different industries, different businesses that you are into. And the reason I'm mentioning there because if you're in any business and you are not revisiting your business plan, you're not revisiting your positioning, you're not revisiting your action steps and action plans, then you're just planning for setting up unfortunately, for a big failure because trends, habits, behaviors have completely changed. And as excited as we are to get back in our offices, to get back in our chairs, to get back in our boardrooms, to get back in our meeting rooms, guess what? We need to be very cautious and careful. We need to get our team together and make sure that we have this plan tied together very tightly. The commodity prices, no surprises, have gone up. And I'm again particularly talking about my part of the industry. So which means what? You need to revisit your pricing strategy as well. You need to revisit your menu strategy as well. The cost associated with reopening, so I was just giving an example of reopening a hotel. Same thing applies maybe to a cafe or a restaurant. Decreased purchasing power across different parts of the world, countries, society, so which is a fact. So people are trading down. So those people who may have been used to dining at casual dining restaurants may be looking at options, towards QSRs, fast foods. Sustainability, this is a very interesting point. I was reading an article and was having a discussion with somebody. Sustainability, brands like, other coffee brands like Starbucks as well, they were big on cutting onto the plastic usage. Guess what? Flip back. So everybody was on disposable. Even five-star hotels to some extent during the peak of the pandemic. I mean, though they were closed, but guess what? The use of plastic, unfortunately, is back big time. The cutlery or the plate or whatever it is. So that is going to play again, unfortunately, havoc, damage on our environment as well. So we got to see and again get our action plans together, how to really try hard to start pulling us back again in the right direction, because we were, as society, going towards the right direction in terms of cutting down big time on the use of plastics. But like I said, it's back. Manpower, again, getting the right manpower back in the places, training, talent, quality, all those things are going to take big efforts, big investments, and time as well. So it is a tough road ahead, but if we don't plan it right, we will set ourselves for failure. Because like I just said, and I'm going to stress again, we are excited, full of energy, full excitement to get back in our space, in our comfortable spaces. But things have changed. The furniture is still the same, the walls, ceiling, roof is still the same, but the dynamics, the environment has changed. So we got to get our act together, plan, and get back to the work. So before going in a little bit of the financial side of not deep, but just on the surface level, top level financial side of the businesses. So I saw this somewhere on Google, and I really loved it. So in the last moment, I added up and gave a little bit of headache to the team, Yashasvi and her team, to put my presentation back again, because this was an interesting photo that I found. So some of the people that are related with finance would understand what I'm saying. The rest, I'll try my level best to understand. So EBITDA, obviously it's a big financial ratio that we look at, in terms of when we're looking at our financial statements, which is, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. Well, when I saw it, really brought a smile on my face, loved it. So now, as they say, it has been changed to, instead of EBITDA, it's EBITDA with a C at the end, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, and coronavirus. So something similar to what I was sharing my experience on the flight yesterday, somebody talking about AC era or, BC era, which is after Corona and before Corona. So something interesting thought. But as a matter of fact, I don't really think it's all that funny, if I can put it that way. I think when we are looking at our financial statements, no matter what part of industry or what business we are into, I think we definitely do need to look at, the effect, what possibly effect it still has and may still have on our financial statements. diving a little bit deeper now, when we go, and again, you can apply to your part of the business that you are running or you are associated with. I think the face, the DNA of a typical P&L, profit and loss statement for any business has changed. It definitely has changed. Of course, the financials, the basics remain the same. But again, like I said, the dynamics have changed. There is a huge pressure on the net profit ratios, the first box that I'm talking about, because now there are so many other elements that have either re-emerged. I spoke about, hiring maybe, or training cost, or whatever, the commodity prices, all those things. So yes, they have taken toll on the P&L. Decreased operational profits. Absolutely, yes. I guess, people who have now started facing back the board and the executive meetings very well, realize what I'm talking about. The third thing, there has been an average, and that's just an average, but it could go up to, even, a little bit higher. But on an average, there has been roughly around 5% increase in the cost of sales or cost of goods sold when it comes to F&B industry, and that's directly related with the commodity prices that I just mentioned. So if there's an increase of 5% on cost of goods sold or cost of sales, there is an increase of bringing back the manpower or the training or whatever it is, reopening costs associated, guess what? It's just going to affect your bottom line at the end of the day. So that's why I'm saying, and I said that no matter what part of the business or whatever business industry you are in, you got to take care of these things. And again, due to suppressed top lines, which is the sales, all the ratios have been under severe pressure, and they have been, unfortunately negatively affected. So that's why when I'm talking to, some of the industry partners, or when I do a little bit of consultancy, when I'm talking to some of the clients as well, this is something very important, that yes, the basic structure of your financial reports remain the same. The ratios that you're going to look at are same, but the meat on the bone has changed. You got to take care of that. Let's talk a little bit about some of the red flags. Again, you may apply to your business, your industry, and I'm particularly talking about the F&B industry. The red flags, the real estate, I call it the box size, okay? And there are several studies, several analyses, but the most intelligent, I would say, advice today is really, if you are in restaurant industry or cafe, to go for smart casual. Real estate has bounced back. I really don't want to talk in a negative nation. Real estate people are, smart people. So as badly as it went down, they have started capitalizing on the post-opening. So the real estate prices are shooting up like anything. So if you're in the F&B part of the world, you got to make sure that you get the right real estate box size. And the reason what I've mentioned in the brackets at the end, smart casual, from my experience past 2 decades, smart casual is the thing. Instead of going for big boxes, casual dining restaurants, gone are the days. So you got to be smart how you get your seating, how you're going to maximize on the table turnover, how you're going to maximize on the guest turnover. That's very important. Second point, price engineering drive profitability. Yes, you got your price engineering done a couple of years back. Yes, you got your menu balancing done a couple of years back. Guess what happened? We're talking about AC after Corona. You got to your marketing teams, your menu teams, got to get back on the table with the pencils, pens, and the calculator. You need to do your price engineering again, because the percentages that are going to eat up from here will never be realized, unfortunately, if you haven't really redone or reevaluated your menu and your pricing strategy. So take all the different components into consideration, and then you got to do your price engineering again. The size of your menu plays a big role in driving your profitability. How balanced is your menu? How big, small, or appropriate size your menu is, be it a cafe, a restaurant, or even in a hotel as well. Menu balancing, you gotta make sure, again, very, very important, that you have items on your menu that balances your financial ratios, your food cost, your cost of goods sold, things like that. So that's why I mentioned these are really 4 major red flags, I would say, for F&B industry. But again, there may be few more. Let's talk about the new normal. Absolutely nothing surprising there. Absolutely nothing surprising there. But again, the point that I wanted to stress is these are not luxuries anymore. Having a fancy QR code and browsing the menu, that's hi-fi tech. No, not anymore. It's not a luxury. It is a must. And you even go to small eateries, you have those QR codes. So the reason I had it as that is the new normal, really. Estimates suggest, and I think the respected previous speaker, she was mentioning about the delivery as well. So here's the astonishing number. Estimates suggest that global online food delivery market reached slightly more than $151 billion revenue, and 1.6 billion users in 2021, almost a 10% increase year over year. Now, the percentage, 10%, for those of you not from the industry, it is a big percentage. If you consider 10% within a short span of period of like a year, yes, it is a big percentage. So if we go through that circle, QR code, cashless transactions, cashless economy, delivery, convenience, dark cloud kitchens. So let me speak about, the dark cloud ghost kitchen. So I was talking to the CEO of a big, without naming, of a big American casual dining restaurant chain. And I remember a few years back when we popped up the idea of cloud or ghost kitchen, there was absolutely no Kamran. There's no way we are doing, that's not our forte, that's not our area. Guess what? They're investing big time in trying to get a ghost cloud or whatever kitchen you call. So regardless of right or wrong, but hey, you got to sit and work on the details, work on the plan. That's very important. That's the point that I'm trying to say. Technology adaptation. I think one of the other things that Corona has taught us is really how I think for those of us lazy like me, I'm not a big tech guy, but yeah, I remain on the basics of Instagram and WhatsApp, and but I started learning a bit about technologies because guess what? That is the new normal technology. So I'm talking from a business point of view. You got to make sure that your business has adapted, be it point of sales, ERP systems, feedback programs, whatever it is. Just make sure that you have the right technology in place. And then so these were some, up until here, these were some of the impacts, the effect. Now let's talk about the road ahead, which was the topic. So up until now, the financials, what could happen, what has happened. Now let's talk about the road ahead. Very important. This slide and the next slide are important and they're again generic, so can be applied to maybe your different part of the business you are into, but extremely important. I've tried to really summarize. There could be few more, but I've here tried to summarize what are the points that we in the industry should be really looking forward to when it comes to the road ahead. It is now time. You got your positioning. I mentioned some time back, you got your positioning fixed, you got everything. Guess what? No, it is the time now that you need to position yourself to take advantage of the newfound trends in the industry. It is very important, critical. Every company, should carry out an exercise whereby they should, I think, establish a list of their customer behaviors. Very important, because the behavior of your customer in your industry has changed. It has changed. It has shifted. So don't assume. Go back to the field. Make sure that your marketing departments, your R&D departments are very well aware of what are the behaviors, what are the new behaviors of the customers. The second point, consumers have found true meaning of convenience, so cater to it. We all got a little bit lazy as well. That was the flip side, of the corona. We all got a little bit, in the habit of, lying in our homes, chilling out, popping out from our windows during the curfew times, and obviously nothing to look around. But guess what? The birds were happy, and this was again as observation. I don't know how many of you made, the number of birds, I should say. I'm deviating a little bit from my topic, but that's my passion. But if you see the birds, you will see them coming out, and you would hear chirping in the morning, which we never used to be. Those are the small things I think we again should be thankful about. Let's come back to the topic again. So you got to make sure that how you do that, focus on providing convenience. So if your customer have got used to that convenience, guess what? As a business, make sure you cater to that convenience. How you know it better, which business you are into, be it about deliveries, be it about takeaways, be it about apps, or whatever it is. The third point, if you don't know how to reach to your customer, someone else will. Trust me. People, businesses, like all of us, we are hungry to get back our market share. We're hungry to get back our business. So everybody's trying everything. So make sure you act fast, and then you adapt whatever you have found. So acting fast is really the key here. The second last point, as in store shopping and restaurant dining are returning back, consumers who have enjoyed online or remote purchasing won't want to give back really on those perks. I wouldn't certainly like to have. I've fallen in love of online ordering. That cost a little bit, but I guess all of us have got into that sort of habit, be it goods or products or food or coffee, whatever it is. But that's we have got into habit of that. So reassess your strategy. If you're in the part of the F&B business, restaurant, make sure you reassess, because very genuinely, yes, we were hungry of getting our businesses. So, we were delivering anything and everything. But hey, guess what? Hold on now. Step back and reassess the quality of your products. Are they good enough for delivery? Are they appropriate for delivery or not? So make sure you take a deep breath in your business and reassess all those things. The last point on this slide where I mentioned, rather than relying on third party, and again, this is something without, if anybody's sitting in the audience, my advanced apologies. These food aggregator companies, I think these are some of the companies or a few of the company industry that really minted money like anything. So it's time for us to fight back, I guess. There are a lot of companies now who are building their own smart apps, their own branded apps. When you are paying 10, 15, even 20 exorbitant percentage to these companies, trust me, if you don't realize that 10, 15, or 20% is coming directly from your bottom line, is coming directly from your net profit, because there's nothing else except it's hitting your bottom line, your net profitability directly. So you are better off investing in your own self-branded app, or club up with a couple of, perhaps, other restaurants. I think a couple of months back, I was reading about a company that has developed this kind of app, within Dubai, and, they have got on board, a few good brands and restaurants that, they're without any percentage or whatever. So the point here is get to add together smart, plan, and execute. So make sure you don't end up losing percentages, because you're going to be losing in cost of goods sold, manpower, all those things. And before you really realize, you don't want to be red on your P&L. The last slide of my presentations, I've got exactly 10 seconds, so I'm going to cheat another maybe a minute. So some takeaways. Obviously, there were a lot of challenges, but the last two slides, like I said, are the positive takeaways. If we can take. If you're in the F&B industry, you have a dining space. Trust me on that. Focus big time on business to business. A lot of people shouldn't say that in a hotel while I'm standing, but a lot of companies are avoiding. They're having their small meetings in hotels. So hey, if you have a restaurant, you have a small VIP room, come up with the packages, offer. It's really come up with a set menu, provide free projector or slide or whatever it is, and it's adding up some good percentages. I've met some clients. So tap into that first point. Drive value. The meaning of value has also changed post-corona. So define where your value of your product or your business is. Realign and start marketing that. Go digital all the way and add directly to your bottom lines. Digital menus, digital ads, digital feedback, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure what you're doing, your part of the business, you go digital. There's no luxury. It is the new norm. Supply chain and par levels, extremely important point, especially for the F&B part. Your par levels for stocks, for your inventory in the warehouses has changed, has definitely changed. Make sure you are planning it smartly. You don't overstock, you don't understock. Reassess your par levels. And this could apply to not only F&B, other businesses as well. Like I mentioned just a couple of minutes back, smart casual is really the new normal. So make sure you are up to it. So that really, in brief, sums up my presentation. And again, thank you very much, for this. And like I said, let's really be thankful. Unfortunately, the world has gone through a big trauma. So I think let's really be thankful and let's really be considerate while we get back to our business, that the things that the wrong things that we got used to, perhaps, we at least get away from that, get back to a healthy life, get back to a healthy business. With that, thank you very much.